political giants on their own turf, one a slayer of populists who believes his cross-channel sparring partner has, at the very least, benefited from populism. Two leaders, half a generation apart, with vastly different political outlooks, who've presided over a frosty period in UK-French relations.
Hey, Boris, how are you? I'm fine, and you? Very, very good.
Generally, it's friendly for the cameras. But occasional frustrations are aired in public.
Donnez-moi un break.
And last year, Emmanuel Macron reportedly called Boris Johnson a clown after clashes over Brexit and the UK's threat to trigger Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol. There have also been harsh words on post-Brexit fishing rights and over cross-channel migration in small boats. Downing Street has high hopes for a fresh start in relations with Emmanuel Macron. At first light this morning, Boris Johnson sent what was described as a warm and playful WhatsApp message to the newly re-elected French president, congratulating him on his victory. And a letter is on its way to the Elysée, hailing new areas of cooperation on civil nuclear power, but with a pointed plea for greater French help in cutting back on small boats crossing the Channel.
It's striking that in Downing Street they are unambiguously delighted at this result. I mean, I think the last thing that anyone wants is to have, have Le Pen in power. But they're also happy because, as you say, it gets over the election. So the thinking has been, it's been a very scratchy relationship. It's been difficult on all sorts of issues. Northern Ireland Protocol, obviously, small boats, channel crossings, and the feeling has been that Macron has had to play to the gallery in France, and that now he has been re-elected, there is potentially the opportunity for them to deal with for a new entente cordiale, as the headlines have it.
A Macron ally says there'll always be differences, but he's hopeful.
There are thorny issues with any two countries who have a common border. There are always difficulties at borders. It's the nature of borders. It's the nature of bilateral relationships. But with a good dose of trust and good collaboration between departments, between ministries, and obviously between the Prime Minister and the President, I think you can get over most of those issues. And you can try and find solutions to some very difficult problems, objectively very difficult for France, very difficult for the UK, and very difficult for both countries. What's very clear is if you don't collaborate, there is no solution to some of those problems.
One Anglo-French observer sees trouble until Brexit differences are resolved.
Brexit continues to frame the relationship. And so even if France tried at the very beginning to separate Brexit negotiations from sort of the bilateral relationships with foreign policy cooperation, defence, migration issues, the toxicity of Brexit talks really has bled into the relationship. And frankly, as long as there are still things that need to be resolved, like the Northern Ireland Protocol, that toxicity will remain.
An ancient adversary and more recent friend over the horizon. A new era beckons, but old and personal rivalries are never far from the fore.